Hey everybody, my name is Solar Sliwa. I'm a senior at OU and I'm studying information technology, and this is my final presentation for CSI 4950. So, the organization that I worked for is called the Tooth Booth. It's out in Fraser, Michigan, and they work in everything from dental implants, dentures, tooth extractions, braces, a bunch of myriad of other things that I won't pretend to know a lot about because I'm not a dentist, but they are classified as a general dentistry clinic. So where I fit, my role was in setting up new machinery, both dental imaging hardware as well as network hardware. I didn't really allude to this in the last slide, but this business has been around for about 40 years, I believe, but they're under a new ownership group as of the last 2 years. So they've been setting up a bunch of new equipment, both network hardware as well as dental imaging software or hardware. I'm sorry. Um, so it's really important to be able to set up these new things and have IT professionals because, well, the dentistry team can essentially worry about their dentistry practice, and us in the IT team we can worry about setting up new things and making sure things don't break. We as well configured existing machinery and network infrastructure, and then just provided general desktop IT support. The three goals that I had set were to improve my networking skills, workplace outcomes. This should say positive workplace outcomes, I guess, to make it a little bit more generalized. But basically having positive outcomes to projects, and then professional development and soft skills, improving those, which is something that's often overlooked in the IT field. But I've learned through this internship mostly that it's something that's extremely important for you to be able to, uh, you know, for you to be able to have to succeed in this field. The progress that I made towards the goals, I set up network hardware, switches, wiring for certain machinery, and then also just setting up new computers. I think we set up about three new computers, and then in the time that I was there, two different dental imaging hardware pieces. One that I'll talk about a little bit later on. Setting up a VPN so the doctor could basically remotely access their desktop from their home. This is something that they weren't able to do previously very securely. And then workplace outcomes as well. As I kind of said, just setting up new equipment, you know, professional development and soft skills, communicating best practices with staff for network security is something that was very important because, as I sort of have learned, is not everyone's on the same baseline of computer literacy. So sometimes communicating things to people that are not as literate as you in using computers is a part of the job. Some of the contributions that I've made. This is the Open Dental is the protocol that I used to create a VPN for the doctor to be able to remotely access their desktop from their home. This is a picture of our server room that has our physical router and modem, as well as our switches and our physical firewall. And then this piece of machinery right here on the left is I forgot what the exact name of it is, but it's essentially a 3D standing CT scan machine. And what it does is it takes, I think, 600 pictures of someone's entire head and then creates a 3D topographical map for you to be able to send out to a lab. And then they create a 3D model of that person's mouth and then send it back to the dentist. And then they're basically able to do whatever they need to create dental implants for people. So this is a piece of machinery that is was vitally important for them to get because previously, if anyone needed this sort of work done, they would have to outsource them to another office. So that's the thing that I've learned is that a lot of dentistry practices are sort of limited in what they can do based on the technology that they currently have. So getting things like this is vitally important for their business. Some of the lessons that I've learned is, as I sort of alluded to earlier, not everyone is on the same baseline of computer literacy. So, not everyone knows you shouldn't click on shady links or, you shouldn't download shady extensions or anything. It's just not a thing that people often think about that aren't in the IT field. And it's something that you need to kind of be able to communicate with them so they can know that, hey, there's a reason we don't do this. Um, Businesses want easy options and to set and forget it. That's literally the whole point of why IT even exists is because, you know, uh, companies don't want to, companies and individual businesses don't want to really think about all this kind of stuff because it's a lot to think about, right? Things break all the time. Just the other day, I had to replace, I think it was a 64 port switch that had two of its fans blow out. And we were running at, I think, 100 megabit per second speed when we paid for like 1 gigabit download speed. So that was a huge issue. And you have to work well with outside teams that don't have knowledge of your network. As I sort of talked about earlier, that 3D topographical X-ray machine, that needed to be installed by a technician that actually worked for that company that creates that machine. And we basically needed to go there and escalate their privileges and basically allow their software to be installed on our computers because they wouldn't be able to if the IT team wasn't there. And I would say that this internship gave me a great glimpse into working in the field with real clients. The three things that I've learned are most important to a business is their needs, their budgeting, and as well as their priorities. Um, Being able to prioritize these three things, and fitting within the mold of what they have as their needs, their budget, and their priorities is very important, and it's what sets apart people who are successful in the IT field and people who aren't successful. And then businesses are routinely targeted, especially in the medical field. HIPAA is a big thing, so being able to be very secure with patient records, as well as reducing attack vectors. In the time that I was there, the doctor for the office was actually targeted. I think they had their business account hacked into. I don't know how exactly. We never really got down to the root cause of it, but they had, I think, $60,000 in false checks be made out in their business account. So like these businesses are routinely targeted because their network infrastructure isn't as robust usually as Fortune 500 companies or large companies. So this is a really important field to be in as an IT professional because you're able to secure places that don't really understand network security very well. And that's it. Thank you.